Hey guys, it's RayJ back with another video. We don't talk about how it's almost been 11 months since my last video, okay? I don't got any more excuses at this point anymore, besides me not having the motivation to do anything. But after 11 months of actually doing my work, because congrats guys, this is the life of a middle schooler who can't do his work on time, who can't do anything on time. So yeah, YouTube videos, I should have just did them during the summer so I wouldn't have to worry about being late for you guys after 11 months. So since it's now almost the summer and I only have a few days left of school, I'm making a video before it hits 1 year of my last video that I made. So besides me talking and stuff, let's get into this video. Oh wait, we don't talk about that last cut. But this video is about, since somebody said, more black phone boys, I'm doing another, Finney Blake X male listener, because, you know, there's not enough, so, yeah, probably be making a Bruce one next, if I remember to do anything, you know, yeah, okay. You were the new student in school, okay, so today was your first day. You were kind of nervous at this point because, you know, we're just walking around and, you know, you're confused, so you didn't know what to do. You just came from wherever you were from, and it was kind of scary. And plus, your mom didn't have enough money, and you were barely getting scraps on the table. So I guess this was a new opportunity for you guys. I mean, you wouldn't know how, since you all your life have been living off of welfare and stuff. But you hope you know, that didn't affect anything. Well, you were wrong. Since this is a school full of pricks and people who don't even know how to shut up right, stuff was already going bad. You've seen bullies left and right. You've been not getting shoved, but at least you've been, you know, trying to avoid it, but a little bit you couldn't avoid it, but you at least tried, but it really wasn't, you know, helping. So you arrive in science class. Awkward. You kind of made it to school late because since your mom doesn't have a car and you don't get up enough to catch the bus, so you just walk to school. And you kind of already live far away from the school and people with school, but it is still a part of the school district, but you still have to walk a little bit longer than other kids, so it's a bit odd. And you don't have bikes or, you know, other stuff, so you walk to school. It's late. School's already started, and it was a bit awkward walking in. You already saw the teacher telling you that it's late, you're late and all that, and at this point, school is already starting off on a rough start. You couldn't even cook yourself breakfast. Like, you knew it was already exhausting from the start. So when you walk to your seat, you hear this teacher talking about the crust, the mantle, the inner core, outer core, and all. Well, you know, the outer core. And leave me alone. Leave me alone. I know what it is. I say it in the wrong way because I say it backwards. But anyways, he was talking about that, and you were just sitting there, wondering, he was just talking, and you were paying attention, but it's like, you kind of knew all of this stuff, because you were like, despite you being poor, you were very advanced enough for your age, so it was like, cool, very amazing. Eventually, the lesson was over, and you see this guy, you know, he looked like an oddball out too. So while he was, I guess, sitting beside this girl, I think you heard her name before, during school. She's kind of popular. Her name is Donna. Yeah, Donna. You never knew the boy's name, so you were like just confused. But before you can even wave or do anything, the bell rung. You looked down, because you realized how bad it was to be an outcast, to not be like other children who were confident, social, at least with a bit of optimism in them. You were just antisocial. You couldn't talk. It just was awkward. You knew your past. You knew how bad it looked in front of others. All you just looked like was just another mouth to feed. So when you heard the bell rung, you just got up and left. You didn't know what to do, and you saw the guy. He was running out of the class, and he was going to the bathroom. You follow behind, and you notice these 3 other guys going into the bathroom, and you thought it was kind of odd, because who would, that's kind of weird to do that. So in the process of you thinking, you just walk into, and next thing you know, you just saw the boys insulting him, and you just thought, oh, it wasn't just you just getting or looking weird. He was getting the same kind of treatment too, and that was off. And it's something that you just didn't expect. So afterwards, you just walk out. You kind of feel bad for the guy, but you don't feel like talking to him, because it's kind of weird. You walk to your next class, hoping you won't be late, but you bump into this other guy. He just kind of shrugs you off, because you look new, and you just shrug off too. So you walk to your class before the bell rang, and that's good. You spent the whole day not talking, just doing your work and eating lunch, and then just hoping the day can go faster so you can leave. You never knew about the grabber or whatever yet, so when you heard all the things about missing kids like Griffin Stagg, Billy Showalter, Vance Hopper, and Bruce Yamada, you were just wondering, all these kids are going missing, yet nobody's putting like actual effort into finding kids. I mean, as soon as they go missing, they just drop it. Like they never existed. Like, one kid goes missing and they worry about them, but as soon as another kid goes missing, they just forget that other kid and just focus on them. Like, do we not care about children who are going missing? Like, that's just inhumane, you thought. Just to sit there and think about how kids were just gone. Like, you didn't want to think about it any further, so you just shake it off as you just, walk out of school, since it's the end of the day. You smile to yourself. Well, not really smile, more just like a weak grunt, because you're finally out of school. You just hope they at least find the kids, but at the same time, you know how it ends. At least all of the kids are dead, and eventually nobody would care anymore, because they have other things to worry about, and they have to continue with their lives knowing that, or just forgetting or not caring that kids had lives before, and they just get brushed off now because for the sake of you just caring about your stuff in your own life, and not thinking about how those kids had something to do, at least. Even if they were as bad or as aggressive, they were still a kid at the end of the day. And they could at least they still had a future to at least change or do whatever. Because that's life, right? And you learn about life and death, then you only worry about death when you're close to it, right? You knew you were lying to yourself because you thought of death every day. You knew every day you could die at this very moment. Every breath that you took, that breath can cut off and you can just lose the sight of any and everything. You just sit there and you couldn't even say anything while you were walking home. You just hoped that for the best, or for anybody else, they could get better, that you hope things get better. For some reason you just knew it wasn't, because overall nothing was getting better anyway. So eventually you walk home, and then you feel somebody bump into you. You grunt on the floor, and then you hear a boy. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. How stupid am I? Are you okay? You look up, and you see a boy. Brown hair, brown eyes, white pale skin. You realize that's the boy from science class. You seen that he had a bloody nose. You slowly got up, and then still you didn't know what to say, so you just pointed at his nose softly. Didn't want to touch him, because social boundaries. You have boundaries yourself, so yeah. And plus you were a bit nonverbal at this point. And he just says, I'm sorry, no need to worry about that. Hey, are you a listener? And you nod, just nod softly. And he was like, great. I'm sorry that you had to see my nose in this complete state. Besides that, I'm Finney Blake. And you nod, and he just says, well, this was a nice talk, but I have to go get my sister, He's, smiles awkwardly before walking off. You nod too, before walking off yourself, walking back home, and you sigh as you make it home to the front door of your house. You look at it, and then you just think, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do with the people who are in there? You walk in, and as soon as you walk in, of course, it smells like straight beer, just straight alcohol. It just hits your nose. You grunt softly. The scent of cigarettes, drugs on the ground, on the table, alcohol bottles, beer bottles just wasted, the old TV just in static. You look around and you just close the door softly. You didn't want to make a mess how it already was anyway in the family. You already knew you were born into a mistake, and you were a mistake yourself. You didn't want it to be like this, but it had to, and you accepted it that way. That's why you wanted to be dead. And your parents did too. They wish you were never born. They just wish a child like you could have been, it just didn't have to exist. You just didn't have to exist. Like, they could have went off and probably had the same life without you. They hoped that they probably knew that they had a whole different life. They would have had a whole different life. They just didn't have you. And you accepted that at this point. Since this was a one-story house, you just tiptoe quietly, seeing your mom and dad almost halfway awake, their eyes drooping, drowsy, the flame of aggressiveness in their eyes. You can see the brash attitude through their faces, of their body language. You just hope not to irritate them today. So you tiptoe, going the opposite way of where they were sitting, hoping they didn't see you. You find your room and you just walk into it slowly, closing the door softly. As soon as you heard the soft click, you sigh and you drop your backpack, laying on the bed, rethinking, what could have you done to make your life better? Or you probably could have just ended your life better. Just ended your life to make things better, to make amends, to make your family happy. That's what you wanted, right? To make them happy. You hoped. But some things didn't go off as often, so you just laid in bed, feeling your skin crawl from your bed that was obviously broken and just cut up and old. It probably had maggots at the bottom of it. You knew you had an old bed, but you just hoped nothing bad happened. As you scratch at your skin, you had a few flakes coming down your arm. It started bleeding a bit more and more. You couldn't help but repeatedly scratch yourself. It felt good, but you knew it was wrong. So you stopped. You got up and just looked at what you did. You sighed softly, knowing this was bad. But you couldn't help but stare at yourself. Just a mistake, just a mess. Oh, your parents were right. You thought my parents were just right. Like, just nothing else but death, or how they were right is just right. So why should I deserve anything? You thought before staring at your arms and just covering them up. You knew you didn't deserve to cover them up. You knew how horrible you looked. You should embrace your ugliness. You heard that many times from your mom and dad. Do you deserve to show how ugly and horrible you look? You just look like a disaster and a mistake, like you were. You just hope not to think of it. But your eyes drift off softly and your mind starts to calm. You were wondering, was this death coming soon? Or was it another beer bottle hitting your head again as your eyes close? Okay, guys, at the end of the video, I hope I can edit this video, I'm gonna edit this video, right now, so I can publish it today. Unlike last time during the summer. Yes, this is a real thing that happened. I was supposed to make a whole entire video in the month of August, but I don't know why, but I never published that video. So you guys could have got an earlier video if I just worked on it, but I ended up deleting it later on because I didn't like how the results ended. So this is our results. So bye guys. See you in the next video whenever I'm gonna decide to just it's gonna be uploaded soon. I'm gonna make more videos soon. I don't know. I keep on making promises and it's just a bit stupid, but okay.